The distress beacon came from a drifting wreckage in the void between systems, a stretch of space so empty that even pirates avoided it. Captain Marcus Chen brought his rescue frigate alongside the shattered remains of what had once been a Valter warship, its hull split open like a broken promise. Inside the wreckage, his scanners detected a single life sign, just one, out of a crew that should have numbered hundreds. When Marcus suited up and crossed into the debris field, he moved carefully through corridors that still smelled of ozone and death. Emergency lighting flickered red against walls scorched black by plasma fire. He found her in what remained of the medical bay, standing upright against a bulkhead, her exo-suit keeping her alive in the vacuum. Her species was Kirethi, one of humanity's closest allies in the Confederation War, a people known for their grace and their warriors' honor. But something was wrong. She wasn't moving like a Kirethi should. Her movements were stiff, mechanical, as though every gesture caused her pain. Through his helmet's translator, her voice came weak and distorted. "Human, I require assistance. My suit's medical systems are failing. I need you to help me remove it." Marcus nodded, activating his medical scanner. The readout made no sense at first, but then understanding dawned like ice water in his veins. The exo-suit wasn't just supporting her, it was holding her together. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She turned her helmeted head toward him, and even through the darkened visor, he could sense her gaze. "I am sure. I must speak with you before the end. There are things you need to know. Things about what happened here, about what we did, about what humanity truly means to us." Marcus's hands trembled as he reached for the suit's release mechanisms. He had pulled survivors from wreckage before, had seen injuries that would haunt him forever, but something in her voice told him this would be different. This would be worse. The first seal hissed open with a whisper of escaping atmosphere. The Kirethi's body shuddered but remained standing. "Continue," she said, and there was something like peace in her voice now, something like relief. The second seal released, and Marcus saw the first glimpse of what lay beneath. His breath caught in his throat. The armor had been the only thing keeping her alive because there was almost nothing left of her to save. Burn marks covered 70% of her body, the kind that came from shielding others from plasma detonations. Her lower left limbs were simply gone, cauterized stumps where legs should have been. Shrapnel wounds peppered her torso, each one a story of standing between death and someone else. But she was still standing, still conscious, still speaking. "My name is Sarathal," she said as Marcus carefully continued removing the armor plating, his horror growing with each piece that came away. "I was the ship's defense coordinator. When the Kryloth attacked, we knew we couldn't win. Their numbers were too great. But we had refugees aboard. 200 human colonists fleeing the burning of Terra Nova. Children, mostly. Families who had lost everything." Her voice wavered but didn't break. Marcus worked in silence, his medical training warring with his shock. How was she even conscious? How was she speaking? "The Kryloth wanted the refugees," Sarathal continued. "They said if we surrendered them, they would let the crew live. It was a simple exchange. 200 lives for 800. The mathematics were clear." She paused, and Marcus heard something that might have been a laugh, bitter and proud. "But we had fought beside humans for 3 years by then. We had seen what you were, what you meant. We had watched you run into burning buildings for strangers. We had seen you share your last rations with wounded enemies. We had witnessed humans choose hope when logic said there was none." The last piece of armor came away from her torso, and Marcus had to turn his head for a moment, fighting the urge to be sick. She should have been dead hours ago, days ago. But Kirethi physiology was different, their nervous systems decentralized, their consciousness distributed. She had stayed alive through sheer will, through something that transcended biology. "So we made a choice," she said, her voice growing softer now. "We put all the humans in the evacuation pods. Every single one. The children, the families, the elderly. We launched them toward your fleet's last known position. And then we turned our ship around, and we flew directly into the Kryloth Armada. Marcus looked at her face now, really looked at it, and saw past the burns and the damage to the fierce pride burning in her fading eyes. We took 17 of their ships with us before they finally cracked our hull. 17. We bought the refugees 36 hours of travel time. Enough for them to reach your fleet. Enough for them to survive. Her legs finally gave out, but Marcus caught her, cradling her broken body as gently as he would a child. Did they make it? She asked. Did the humans survive? Marcus's voice cracked as he spoke. Yes, all 200. They reached the fleet. They're alive because of you. Sarathal's body relaxed in his arms, and he saw something like a smile cross her ravaged features. Good, she whispered. That's good. You need to understand something, human. We didn't do this because of treaties or alliances or political calculations. We did this because you taught us something we had forgotten. You taught us that some choices transcend survival, that some causes are worth dying for, that sometimes the irrational thing is the only thing that makes us truly alive. She was fading now, her breathing shallow and irregular. Marcus held her closer, this warrior who had sacrificed everything, this being who had chosen to believe in the best of what humanity could be. In all our recorded history, she continued, her voice barely audible now, across all the species we have encountered, across all the civilizations that have risen and fallen in this galaxy, only one species has consistently chosen compassion over survival, honor over pragmatism, hope over certainty. Only humans look at a burning universe and decide to be the light. Her eyes began to close, but she fought to speak one more time. We didn't save those humans because we had to. We saved them because after 3 years of fighting beside you, we wanted to. Because you made us want to be better than we were. Because you showed us that courage isn't about being unafraid. It's about being terrified and doing the right thing anyway. That's what humanity means to us. That's your gift to the galaxy. Marcus felt tears streaming down his face inside his helmet as Sarathal took her last breath, her body finally releasing the iron grip on consciousness that had kept her alive long enough to tell this story, long enough to ensure that someone knew what had happened here, what humanity had inspired. He held her in the darkness of that shattered ship, surrounded by the void, and understood something profound. Humanity didn't inspire through strength or technology or conquest. They inspired by simply refusing to let the universe make them cold. 3 days later, when Marcus stood before the Confederation Council and delivered Sarathal's message, there wasn't a dry eye in the chamber. The Kirathi delegation rose as one and placed their hands over their hearts in the highest salute their culture could give. And the human ambassador, a veteran of a dozen campaigns, spoke the words that would echo through history, the words that would become humanity's creed. We are not the strongest species, we are not the oldest or the wisest, but we are the ones who taught the galaxy that some things are worth dying for, and the things worth dying for are always, always worth living for. Sarathal's ship was recovered and rebuilt as a memorial, a testament to the day an entire crew chose to become legends because they had learned from humans what it meant to be heroes.